y'all, it's Erin with Twirling down Main Street. If you're new to the channel, welcome, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're not new, then welcome back. This is part 3 of my Universal Basics series. If you missed parts 1 and 2, I will link them down below. Today we're going to be talking about Islands of Adventure rides. When you first walk into the park, we're going to go left, and the first ride that you'll come up on is Hulk. Hulk is a roller coaster. It goes upside down 5 or 6 times, and it's a whole lot of fun to ride. Right next to Hulk is Stormforce Acceleratron, which isn't open right now, but it's kind of like a teacups ride where you sit in a little circular vehicle and then you can spin it and make it go faster as it goes around. The next ride is Dr. Doom's Fearfall. Dr. Doom is kind of like a drop ride. It takes you up and drops you down. It's fun. It's a very quick ride. Sometimes the waits can be a little long because there's only 2 towers and it can only accommodate so many people per tower. But it's fun to do if it's a short wait, and you can get really incredible views no matter which direction you're facing. After Dr. Doom's Fearfall is The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. This ride is an indoor ride. It has 3D elements. You have 3D glasses that you wear. You are in a car type vehicle and you go around following Spider-Man and the villains and everything. If you have motion sickness, it might affect you. I would suggest getting some C-bands. I will link the Amazon link for them down below because that helps me tremendously on this ride. Exiting Marvel Superhero Island and continuing clockwise around the park, we come upon Toon Lagoon. So in Toon Lagoon, there are 2 water rides. The first is Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges. This is a water ride. You will definitely get soaked. It's one of those kind of raft type rides where you all sit in a circle and then go through it. You will get wet. That's all I have to say. You will get wet. The second is Deadly Do-Right Ripsaw Falls, and it's like a plunging log type ride. You will also get wet. Next up is Skull Island Reign of Kong. This ride, you're in like a jungle safari type vehicle, and you start out outside and it goes inside, and there's lots of 3D effects and screens. You don't wear 3D glasses, but if screens and lots of visual elements can make you motion sick, then you might want to sit this one out. I had to close my eyes a few times on this one. It's a little scary too as far as just thematic elements that happen, so it might not be suitable for a kid. I know if I was a kid it would scare me, so just take caution with that. Now continuing clockwise, we get into the Jurassic Park area of the park. The first ride is Pterodonton Flyers. This is a ride where it seats 2 people and you're up, kind of just gliding around up above the park. In order to ride this ride though, you have to have a child with you and they have to meet certain height requirements. So if you are 2 adults, you can't ride it. If you're just a single adult, you can't ride it. You have to have a child with you. I still haven't ridden it, but I've heard you can get fantastic views from the ride. Next up is Jurassic River Adventure. This ride is super fun. It's a water flume type ride. You'll get kind of wet, but not as wet as the other 2 water rides. It's got dinosaurs and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy that ride. The next ride I'm going to talk about hasn't opened yet, but it is the Velocicoaster. Very excited about this ride. It is awesome. It looks so cool. It's got a whole bunch of records and like tallest roller coaster in Florida or something like that. It's gonna be epic. It opens summer of 2021. They haven't released a specific date yet, but signs have started going up, and by the time this video goes out they might have released a date. I don't know, but construction seems to be going really well with that, so I'm very excited for that one when it comes. Next up is the Hogsmeade section of the park. This is part of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and the first ride we're going to talk about is in the Hogwarts Castle, and it is called Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. So this ride vehicle, it's kind of weird. It's 4 seats across, and then you have a shoulder restraint that comes down, and then you basically kind of like fly through different scenes in Harry Potter. You're following Harry along while he's on his broom, so it feels like you're flying. There are both animatronic sequences and screen sequences, so sometimes this ride makes people motion sick. Just know that if you're going into this ride that it's been known to make people motion sick. Right next to that is Flight of the Hippogriff, which is a kiddie coaster. It's still really fun. I enjoy riding this ride almost every time we go if it doesn't have a high weight, but it's a good first coaster for kids. The next ride is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, and this ride is awesome. It's a roller coaster and has other elements, and it's so cool. Sometimes this ride will have a virtual queue. I will link my video down below on how to get a virtual line pass for that because you don't want to miss this ride. Next is the Hogwarts Express. This is a ride. It's also a form of transportation to Universal Studios. So if you don't want to walk, or if you want to get the full Harry Potter experience, then you can take the Hogwarts Express. Make sure you take it both ways though, from Islands of Adventure to Universal Studios and from Universal Studios to Islands of Adventure, because the experience is different both ways. Next up is the Lost Continent area of the park. Right now, with COVID, there are no rides open, but during normal times, there's a ride called Poseidon's Fury, and it's a walkthrough live show type ride. From Lost Continent, the next land is Seuss Landing, and there are a lot of kid-friendly rides here. The first one is High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride, and this is a fun ride that has tracks above Seuss Landing, and you're in a little train trolley, and you go around and you can see really good views of the park, and it's just a really fun ride. It's a nice way to cool off on a hot day because you'll get a breeze, and I really like this ride. It's one of my favorite rides, honestly. Make sure to ride this multiple times because there's two different rides, basically. It's two sides of the track, and you'll get a different experience depending on which side you start on. Next up is Carousel, which is a carousel with Dr. Seuss themed animals, and it's a standard carousel. Across from that is One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, which is kind of like a Dumbo ride. You go around and it just spins you in circles. Sometimes it shoots water if it's not too cold. This ride, however, is fun because the music will tell you to go up or go down, and you can change the height, and it'll tell you like follow the fish in front of you or do the opposite of them, and it's a little more interactive than just like the standard Dumbo ride. So this ride's another fun one to do. And the last one is Cat in a Hat. This is a dark ride, and it follows the story of Cat in a Hat. It does have a little bit of spinning, but not too much, and it's a good ride for kids. So those are all the rides at Islands of Adventure. Be sure to subscribe so you can catch next week's video, which will be about express passes, so that you can get to ride those rides quicker. Thank y'all so much for watching. Wear your mask, wash your hands, be safe, and we'll see you later.